So I am always late to these parties because I have to work. I'm not like, the fun type of YouTuber. I have a job. So I got to take a little bit of time and watch the trailer a few times throughout the days. And it's also given me a little bit more insight on the back end of things as well. So I'm just going to let it play in the background while I'm speaking here about a couple different things. We'll pause, we'll rewind, going to cut. You guys have seen the trailer for right now. So Farming Simulator 2025 is coming out later this year in November. So there are a few things that I do want to hit on from the trailer, and a few things that are not in the trailer but are information on other sites and forums and everything like that is reliable, and I'll try to post what I can. So, they always hype up the game with a pre-rendered cutscene, which is all well and good. The first thing that we notice is that we're in Japan, we're here. Apparently, the guy got dropped off by a K-truck. I would love to see a small K-truck for the Asian map. If we're not going to call it Japanese map or whatever, if it's called the Asian map, I would like to see very, very small trucks. We all know I love my little Honda Acti. I will have another one again. We're also being shown a couple, pieces of the livestock here in the bison and a Seki, I think it is, powered by Yanmar, little rice planter. I'm kind of excited for that. Just depends on how the game's going to have that gameplay loop integrated in. As you get into the rest of the trailer, you can see that we're tilling up ground and we've made a rice paddy or paddock that we're going to fill full of water. And I want to know how this is going to work in game. Rice is a very labor-intensive crop, and it would be interesting to see how that's automated and how that water process goes, because a lot of you know that I worked with a lot of watering pumps and everything like that, so that's interesting to me. Other things I'm not too excited about. It has been somewhat confirmed that there will not be a 4X map. I had planned to make a video on wishes of things that I would like to see in the next Farming Simulator game. I would have assumed that it was coming out sometime this year. And having something larger than our standard map or card would have been high on that list. And apparently, and I do have a screenshot of this, Marcel from the Discord has stated that because of the file size limitation on consoles, that won't be coming. It's just the file sizes are too big. And I tried to get a little bit of clarification on that, and really didn't. It was kind of lost in the weeds there. The file save on the 16x map that we've been doing a small playthrough on is 244 megabytes, which is a fairly hefty, chunky boy. But a 4x should be less than that. A standard map save is somewhere between 2 and 5 megabytes. In the same world that installed game sizes are in 300 gigabyte range, I find this a little bit frustrating, kind of a slap in the face for something that most of the farming sim community has been asking for forever. 4X maps generally feel better to play, and you have more freedom to do things your way, where a standard card, well, if it's constructed correctly, can be a ton of fun. You don't get that whole large feeling of being out on an actual farm, because farms are mostly remote, and you lose that ability to transport with trucks and trailers and stuff like that. I mean, you can still do it, but it's not as interesting or anything like that. As far as other things that we've noticed here in the trailer, so I'm just going to skim through it here. Hopefully I'm going to be able to line up this as I go. there are a few things that you can skim from a trailer that may be able to make it into game. One of those things, actually, they spent a lot of time here looking at this photo mode. And there's always been a mod to have a photo mode. And I think that that is actually going to be coming into, because if we look at the screenshot here, on this, there is the Farming Simulator logo, and there looks to be like gameplay mechanics attached to this. So we've got our not a standard camera functionality. Okay, so we have the Farming Sim logo, we have a clock or a stopwatch, the reverse of, turn a camera from selfie to normal camera. We also have an email icon, which doesn't normally show up on a camera. Then we have our standard 3 pips to do photo editing and stuff like that, or adjust, some things that are, going. And you can see that we have video, photo, pano, slow motion. That would be awesome. And there's also a small screenshot in the very bottom right-hand corner. So in a cinematic trailer, you don't really tend to have things shown that you don't want to show. Even if it is not gameplay, you don't want to show things that don't make a lot of sense in the game. I think that a good photo mode will be coming, and which would be very nice, because I use ProShot for all of my cinematics and everything like that. So having the ability to possibly, this is just speculation, do some time lapses and stuff like that in game, that would be super sweet. So we'll just hit on that really quickly. The next part that comes up is this heavy rainstorm. And while it is, moody, we're setting the mood, she's wanting to look at this piece of grain and go, you know what, hey, we can do this at our place back home. Because these are the same characters that we had at the intro of FS22. So our character, or the girl character there, has grown and is more, hey, let's do this farming thing, before she didn't want to wake up and blah, blah, blah. But what we see here is, as it goes on, we're getting a lot more crop movement. And right now, yeah, we have wind that kind of blows around crops and stuff like that. I've mentioned it in the Calmlands playthrough, that it is probably one of the most relaxing things to see is crops moving about as wind moves. And you do that by adding what's called a purlin noise, and it can move some shaders magically around and everything like that. Really cool stuff. It's very intricate, and it doesn't really require that much performance. And this is all going to be next gen, so no more last gen hardware is going to be supported any longer. So hopefully that means we can start getting some larger mods and everything. And as we kind of scroll through here, we're getting into what I would assume, and I'm really hoping that we're going to see some kind of 3D texture on the ground. I've said it in the past. I do believe it was when the FS19 trailer dropped that I don't believe that computers and consoles at the time were ready for it. After spending so much time in SnowRunner and everything like that, where the the cards, I'm so used to calling them cards now, where the map sizes are comparable, I think we're there. Maybe not full, deformation or anything like that, but even a simple, mud track system would be within the realm of things that we should be able to see. Now, I doubt that that's going to happen, and we'll get into that, into the screenshots and everything like that. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, I'm just pointing out things as I see them. But as you can see here, new case, sorry, custom modding, it looks like you did all your things in vain, but I'm sure that yours is still going to be better than anything else anybody puts out, and I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys do awesome work. It looks really good. I know that this is a cinematic trailer and everything like that, but setting that standard, where in the FS22 reveal trailer, the ground was more static. It really was. And I think that shows that they're going to try to make some kind of improvements. So we're going to kind of see what happens there. I don't know. I haven't got confirmation, one way or the other. And I want it. Oh, okay. So I did just get confirmation, like live thing right now. It says that it is in, on the ground for deformation is in, and I'm overlooked it. Any hoozle. So yeah, I'm really hoping that they do step that up a lot. And again, we getting into, they've made a nice area here with a simple irrigation setup, and I want to see this implemented well. We've had time with the slurry mod and everything like that. We're getting the idea of, we can do these jobs with hoses and everything like that. So yeah, I'm super excited for this. I want to see it do well. I just don't want these to be placeable fields. I don't think that that's the the correct direction. Then we come on to the Aprilia. Aprilia makes an amazing motorcycle, both on and off-road. I was actually really happy to see this. Having dirt bikes be base game is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people will still get around on dirt bikes to get to remote parts of their farm and land and everything like that. So pretty cool. We got side-by-sides, now we have dirt bikes, so getting some quads in there or something, that would be awesome as well. Maybe like a Foreman. I'm kind of biased to a Honda Foreman. Would be nice. So it's okay. We get down to the John Deere here. Normal cinematic stuff here. Looks really good. Looks like we get some kind of different flying birds come in, and it just, I'll give it to them. The guys that make these cinematics do such a good job. I mean, that looks so good. Like, you got to give it to them. Yeah, it looks really good. So let's move on to the screenshots of everything, and we'll talk briefly about those guys. I watched the Dagger Win, reveal video. I want to kind of see what everybody's thoughts and everything are. And I've taken these screenshots, and I'm going to try to release this video in straight up 4K the best I can. What I want to convey here is kind of important on certain aspects of like how modding works and everything like that. There are certain things that I can notice that are here and they're there, anything like that. So we've got the big Kloss, and she's gorgeous. I mean, we all know I like a Kloss. And we come to the winching here. Winching got added into the Platinum DLC. A lot of people have been adding it into mods and everything like that. I'm pretty sure this is going to be base game now, which would be very, very good for us. And I'm actually kind of thrilled about that. What I really want to point out here, though, is the amount of detail that is starting to go into standard issue items. We're going to take a look at the front end of this Kloss here, and we're getting more and more stuff behind the mesh. Okay, mesh used to be solid for a long time in the farming sim games. You didn't see much behind it outside of some mods that we use it and actually put some detail in behind there. FS19, okay, yeah, we're getting a little bit more. FS22, they've really started leaning into it. FS25 looks like they have gone full bore. Now, some of this could be some trickery to keep down poly count, which would be awesome for the console people. But most of this does look like solid 3D items here. So we've got our condenser and aftercooler and everything here on the Kloss. And I'm noticing some things that are not so good, too. I mean, a lot of, like, this plating here by the engine looks very flat. To me, that looks to be a normal, which is not bad. Why am I going to look at this part of this one singular part of the tractor all the time and, worry about it being a normal or not? Sometimes I'm guilty of it as adding too much 3D depth to things. Looks like we have straight up 3D tracks awesome, great. And there are a few things here I've noticed that have still carried over. If we take a look at our road wheel here, our bolt heads are definitely normals, along with our grease caps and things of that nature. And, you know, but, it looks like, to me, I could be wrong, that the standard image file has been moved up from, I do believe it was 1024 by 1024 to 2048. And I think that was the standard size. I'm actually going to go check right now. So looking at just some files before, it looks like we've been moved up to 2048 already, but these look more crisp. So I wonder if there's some magicry, you know, going on in the background on Giant's engine, because they do look better. Maybe we're finally getting, instead of just a normal map, we're getting a height map as well. That would be pretty good to have. That way you can have more depth to all of your pieces, because 3D mesh is heavy a lot of the times, but at the same time, having too large of an image file can cause performance issues as well. So that's kind of been what I've been struggling with on the P16. Love that thing to death, but it is very image file heavy to get the detail that I want out of it for, you know, all the normal mapping and everything like that, and also keep the you know, the triangle count down as well. I did see a little bit of grass sticking through the bottom of the track here, and it looks like, you know, the good old dirty glass texture is still hanging on for dear life here. But, you know, it's fine. I'm not seeing an area where the windshield wiper would go. That's been pretty much a staple now for a while, to have, you know, a place where your wiper would be at. This looks like it's been, you know, the same inch file that we've had for a good little bit. But I'm just being pedantic, I guess. Okay, next up we have the river area. I hope that this is going to be a very nice area to visit and farm on. The low amount of fog here really adds a lot of atmosphere and everything, and we're getting a lot better clustering of certain weeds. I guess we could say weeds and grasses. So, you know, we're getting individuals here without a lot of empty area beside them, where before, if you added like a small piece of flowering or something like that, it would take up a certain amount of area, because you're painting a picture to give that detail on the back end, and you know, you can only have so much pixel there for a certain thing, right? I know that sounds really kind of bogus, but on the back end you'll see it. Trees look to be a little bit more detailed. You know, they look better. You know, we've had the same trees now for a little bit. You know, it's fine. It's fine. The rocks and everything do look really, really good. And one thing I noticed here was we're able to put foliage on this rock. That's not normal, because normally you would have foliage coming through a rock. So either they've had this little plant here poking through this, or they've put some of the shorter ones on this, and that would be kind of neat to have a placeable, you know, a map object that we could put some stuff on. That would be pretty cool to have, honestly, because there's a lot of times that you can not add detail to a rocky area like this because you cannot get foliage or, you know, things of that nature to stick onto it. Now again, that could be just because this is really tall and this is that, you know, just kind of stuck up there. The sunbeam effects here, you know, we have a little bit of God rays coming down through. It looks really good. Like, it's very atmospheric. Down here by the Farming Simulator logo, the plants look higher detailed. And, you know, they're still what they are. They're not, you know, 3D Foley objects and stuff like that, but they still look really, really good. In a game about farming, your foliage makes a difference. But yeah, I think it's a very good direction. It looks like we have a little bit better cloud volume here, and some little bit of differences, because in the base game, clouds were, yeah, I mean, it's nice having volumetric clouds, but the kind that we were getting were really, every time I've seen them, were like really streaky. I'm not really looking at the sky so much, I'm looking at the ground and everything. So to me, this looks very good. We also got something sticking out over here. I don't know what that is. Okay, so now we're looking at the case harvester, and we're seeing a little bit of, you know, some more foliage and stuff here, and we're going to consider foliage to be our crops as well. So speaking of crops, we're looking at, pretty sure this is wheat here, and it is a lot more dense, and it looks very nice. You can start to see where it's going into the header that it looks very good. My only thing here is there's a lot of blurriness in the shadow, and I don't understand that. And there's like some mild artifacting on the head here as the tines go past it. And you know, if you guys have seen my videos where I have a lower spec system these days, I can't extend my draw distance too far. It really impacts performance. I'm interested to see what this does for performance wise with this much density, because as it is right now, like all your crops are kind of like they're in zones, you know, like you get like little sprouts of foliage here and there, where this looks a lot better, and I really do like it. You know, we're getting a lot better reflections here. I don't know if this game is going to be RTX based or not, or ray tracing, I guess, implemented right off the bat. I know FS22 was, so I figured that this would be, but we're getting a ton of reflection off this case, and we're getting, you know, some ground reflection here as well, and I think that this is going to be pretty good for us. Now, there is a reflection up top here on the hopper, and it looks like not a specular map, what do they call it, a Q map, probably. So like you'd have a UV sphere shooting rays into this. It still looks good. It looks really good. I won't complain about it. I'm interested to see if we get wet texture maps on some of this. You know, having machines get wet and have that kind of dripping effect would be awesome. And I would be interested to see how that's implemented, if it's going to be implemented like dirt and where a height map is used, where it's either black or white, and you know, you get your dirt and your as part of your specular map. But yeah, pretty interesting little setup there. I'd be interested to see in how the tractors get wet and stuff. But other than that, it looks like this is a new material for our little PBR stuff, and because that looks like a really good bright aluminum or possibly polished stainless. It's hard to tell at this resolution, but I did notice the tracks going back here. That looks natural. Like that foliage in the middle of it looks very good. They knew what they were doing. They knew I'm going to pixel peep this thing for sure. Okay, then we got a Fint 728 Vario. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's interesting. Like, it's really interesting from, you know, the back end side of things. Again, as we look here inside, you know, we're seeing more and more detail put in behind the mesh and everything like that, which is awesome. But then we have this. It's expanded metal. I know it's not, that's what it is, but it looks like expanded metal for grading. And I haven't seen them use that before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn that they used the standard mesh that they have before. So that looks really good. We're getting a lot of good reflections. I mean, this paintwork and everything looks really good. It looks like, you know, actual body work now. It doesn't look so much like a toy, and that was like my biggest gripe with some of the things in Farming Sim, was a lot of it just looked like toys. Things I'm not excited about. This exhaust plume is the same exhaust plume. Why aren't we using the you know, the what is it, real exhaust or whatever, just put that in the game. Just use that. It looks so much better than whatever this is. I know it's supposed to be heat coming out of it and everything like that, and you're trying to get this distortion effect going on, but man, for artistic sake, that the exhaust mod just blows it out of the water. There's my gripe. It looks like this is flat ground. Now they say it's going to be deformable. It's hard to tell. You know, we've already had our cutters go here before the tines come by and put down the seed, I would reckon. Or no, this is fertilizer first. So fertilizer out of the bulk tank and then back to the seeds in the drill. But I don't know. I really hope that they step up their game on the terrain side of things. I've been saying that for a while, but the density is there. Like, ground density looks really, really good. You can definitely tell here on this edge that the density is a lot better because we don't have like these hard jut outs. So that resolution on the map has probably been kicked up a good amount. So that's really nice to see. The density in the backgrounds is kicked up a lot too. A lot of the maps were kind of barren on their back end stuff. So the move to modern hardware is really going to improve. It looks like these are plugs. So those look a lot better. So if you don't know, you can have your host plugins and stuff like that. This looks like it has like a light plug in it right now, and you can set those as nodes to be on or off inside of GE for certain things. If you watch me try to make plugins work on the back of tractors and trucks, this is what I'm talking about. So those look really good. The 3-point looks, well, I mean, it looks like a 3-point, but it looks really, really good. This ball asset here is a factory GE asset that looks massively improved. That looks really, really good. And this is where I'm talking about a normal map can look extremely good on certain things. These bolt holes on the 4 look really, really good. Like, they look awesome. And I'm pretty sure that this is a normal map because this should be as well. So I don't know why you would waste some polys here punching out some holes when you got higher resolution normal that can do most of that work for you, because you're not going to be pixel peeping it like I am. You're going to be back away from the tractor, really taking a look at it. The tires themselves look awesome. I don't know if this is the same tire model or not. It looks different because of these sipes in it, but I could be wrong. Tires are not my strong suit. Okay, looks like we get a MacDon swather, M1240, right? Yeah, M1240 with an R216P. Yeah, a little head there. Hopefully we see a lot wider one. I would love to see swathing become more of a thing for crops. I know it's not done as much now, but it would still be neat for those that want to do it. What can we ascertain from this? Well, we've got a massive leg sticking up out of the ground. For a grain leg there. That looks really, really good, but I'm more interested in the density behind it. That's a ton of forest. So yeah, that looks really, really good. The swathing here, it looks not as, like, I'm going to say this as, if you play FS22, they kind of look like triangles going down the road, don't they? Where this looks better. It's not as fluffy as I would like it to be. I think that a middle ground between what Cattle and Crops did and what FS does would be very, very good, because the fluffiness of grass cannot be understated whenever it is cut and laid out. It looks like you kind of want to go lay in it, honestly. It looks really, really cool. Grass density, again, is way up. It just looks good. I am actually drawn away by these shadows. They look really, really good. The glass texture looks slightly different. I can't tell if it's just because it's this or not, but like even the beacon looks better. So there's something going on there, and I'm pretty happy with that. But we got self-shadowing on the vents here. Like, there's just so much detail going into things now. It's actually kind of insane. Things I don't like about this picture. What can I pick on? Let's pick on this. So this header moves up and down, you would assume, right? I bet that this is the bending point, this little kink right here. Having that look a little bit smoother would be nicer. That's just kind of what it is right now. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. Springs are going to be springs. They're going to look kind of awkward because you really can't do. Well, you might be able to do it with an alpha channel, I wonder, to get that area in between springs whenever they're stretched. You know, you can see kind of through them and get that springy kind of look, where these normally just look like cylinders with some ribs on them, you know, rib for her pleasure, whatever. And it's okay. You know, I'm not gonna knock them for what they're doing. It's okay. I'm pretty sure this is a new hub asset, unless that's hub. Was it HBO5? Maybe. Can't remember. I used one of them on the Pacific, and I can't remember which one it was. I'm just looking at this. There's so many different shadows reflecting. And I know, you know, the game can do shadows and everything like that right now, but they just look better. And I really think we're using the hardware that we're given now a lot better than what we have in the past, because this just looks better. Like, we're getting shadowing on everything, and I know you can set things to show shadow and everything, but the shadows are normally really, really jagged. They're normally, you know, not the highest quality shadows, where these are sharper. And maybe I can find a picture of something to throw in here if I don't forget, where you're not getting that good crisp shadow line that you think you would. So we're going to take a look here at the cinematic shot here of one of them that I have. I think this is pronounced Iski, little rice planter. And if we can get this kind of detail into the main game, it's going to be really, really good. I am still reading the Discord as we're doing this, and I really need to pay more attention to what is said. But it does look like things are going to be able to get wet up to a certain water line. Marcel says machines being wet up to the water level. I don't know. I don't know what that means. So is this going to be to a certain level of the map, or what we have going on here? If somebody has some more information, that would be great. Things I'm going to try to get some screenshots of that I wish were going to be in the game already are going to be terraform. If we have small ground deformation and everything, that's going to go a long way. Getting that field interest and everything looking great. Even driving through the field, that little bit, just that small amount of just deformation, just driving down the field would add so much to this game. But having the ability to actually cut out chunks of land, because terraform has been working very, very well. I'm not going to say it is the greatest thing in the world. It is convoluted as all get out, and anybody that tells you that it isn't is lying. But it does offer a ton of gameplay variety that we just don't have right now. We open up mining and stuff like that in the Platinum DLC, but we didn't really get enough to really justify the equipment and everything like that. So it is what it is. I would like to see a little bit more of that on there. I really wish we could go to 4X. God, we've been doing the same map size for years, and other games' maps keep getting larger and larger. I'm not asking for huge maps. I'm not asking for a 16x or 32 or 64, 128, 256. Just 4. That's all. It's not a big ask, but I will probably always still play 4X maps because that's the perfect size. It really is. 16X is just so big. But that is my rundown. Hopefully, I've shown you guys some things and had some insight that other people hadn't, but I doubt it because I am slow. So we'll see you bye.